Yeah. Graham, have you ready, sir?
Thanks, John. Hi, Paul.
Hi, good evening, Graham.
Can you start, Paul, by giving us a bit of an update on injuries, any fresh injuries from yesterday, and particularly Llorente's fitness at the moment?
Everyone that was involved in the squad yesterday, so I didn't make any changes, so all those that played are fit and available again for the game Wednesday. Llorente is still touch and go for this next game. It's possible, and I can't really say any more than that. We're looking at him day to day. He's responded well yesterday and today to treatment. Wednesday's going to be tight, but it is a possibility. I think next weekend's a much more realistic target.
Is there a concern that it could be an injury that drags on a little while?
No, I don't think so. It's a minor thing, but he wasn't comfortable to train with it. But it has settled down, and which is good news. And hopefully, he'll be back very shortly.
On reflection, how much of a missed opportunity was yesterday, and does that put a slightly different context on the Spurs game because you only took 1 point rather than 3?
We can look back the last 3 games and say they're all missed opportunities, because taking 1 point out of 9 is not particularly positive. I thought our performance yesterday was better than against Hull and Bournemouth, and having reflected on it now for over 24 hours and looked back through the video, I thought we played some good football. Had good control of the game in terms of possession. Put a lot of balls into their penalty area. Had the best chances of the game. They obviously had one big chance at the end. Apart from that, we defended well, I thought, for the game. And therefore, based on those facts, are disappointed to have not taken all 3 points.
You said before that Llorente is a key player for you. How well do you feel the team is adapting to when he's not there?
Well, Fernando played in the games. The first half at Hull. We lost him, just before the half, and he is an important player. He's the leading goal scorer of this team, and since I've been here, he's been particularly influential. I think the team have got good service into him, and he's relished that. We put a lot of crosses in yesterday as well, and I think they're the kind of crosses that he would have been really looking forward to. And I know that he made a comment having watched the game and said, I wish I was in the box on some of the end of some of those, but that wasn't the case. The players that were out there tried very hard to get in there, but I think Middlesbrough also defended very well, and we knew going into the game they were a good defending team, and they certainly had to defend a lot in the game, particularly for crosses from wide areas and the set plays as well, and we just couldn't get over the line. On another day, one of those goes in. Mawson's had one off the line. Sigurdsson's had a great shot that was saved by Valdez. He had another one that was deflected off the hand and gone wide. Leroy Fer late in the game's got one taken off him that the defenders put over the bar. We've created less chances and won a game before, and we have to not lose belief, because based on the way we played, I would be more concerned if we were shipping goals in at the other end and not creating chances. The fact is, we defended well, we created lots of chances, just didn't convert that final action.
Given the state of the game and the fact that you hadn't scored, you got a record signing on the bench, £15 million player in Borja Baston. A lot of people will look at your reluctance to put him on and say, well, Paul Clement doesn't fancy him as a Premier League striker. What would you say to that?
Amanda Phillips.
Oh, sorry.
Should we take that?
Definitely not. Apologies. Stop the recording, that's the main thing.
Schoolboy Harry Phillips.
Tell you you're going to be late, Rob.
There you go.
That's a bad.
Thank you.
That is a bad.
10 grand.
Yellow card. Sorry, Paul.
The
To you again, a lot of people will look at your reluctance to put him on and say that you just don't fancy him as a Premier League player.
Oh, you could pick on that particular one, but it's a game where I've not done any changes, and I've just been told that that's the first time any manager's done that since the Swansea have been in the Premier League. So I'm breaking records. As I watched the game, at half time I spoke to my assistants about, what do we think we could do possibly here if the game goes this way, it goes that way. We're always talking and thinking about potential changes. And that was at half time, and it was going on all the way through the second half as well, right up until, with 5-6 minutes to go about doing that. So I was close to doing something, but based on what I saw, I decided we looked tight enough at the back, so no defensive changes needed. We were creating enough opportunities territorially. We were getting in the right areas. We were still getting balls into the right areas. So that's the reason I didn't change. And sometimes I'll look back and think I made a mistake there, and if I had my time again, I would have done that, and I would have done that. In this situation, I feel comfortable that I didn't make any changes.
The other element of that question was specifically about Borja. Is he a player you have faith in at this level? Yeah,
because if I didn't, I wouldn't even put him on the bench. All right, I put him on the bench because I think that he can, at a given moment, he can have an impact. My job as the coach is to decide whether those on the pitch are going to make more of an impact or those coming in are going to have more of an impact. And Borja's training very well. Oliver McBurney's been back involved again, and they just have to keep doing their thing, and when I call upon them, be ready to take their opportunity. And that could be on Wednesday, or it could be on Saturday.
What have you made of Spurs, Paul, this season?
Really good. And see, they've been challenging the last couple of seasons now. I think Mauricio Pochettino's done a really good job there. He's put together very good young squad, and the type of football they play as well is very good to watch. Exciting team, create lots of chances, score lots of goals, players that are really performing to their potential. And with the result of Chelsea at the weekend, that's probably just given them a little bit of belief that they can take it right to the end.
You've been to Chelsea this season. Compared to Spurs, is there a narrowing of the gap Spurs were found wanting at this stage last season? Are they closer maybe to getting to Chelsea's level?
Well, I think it's a different situation this year. I think when they were closer in terms of points to Chelsea before. Now the gap's bigger, but it's just closed very slightly. That gives them belief, and where Chelsea had that nice 10-point cushion, they just need to look over their shoulders a little bit more now to see Tottenham coming behind them. So I think it's interesting. Obviously my concern is more at the other end, and I think it's going to be an interesting game because Tottenham are going to need to try and come here and win based on them having a chance of going all the way and winning the title. And it's a very important game for us because we really need points at this stage.
Interesting game also perhaps for Gylfi Sigurdsson and Tom Carroll, given their Spurs connections.
Yeah, Kyle Norton as well, and Wayne Routledge. Yeah, there's a lot of players that have played for Tottenham before, and I'm sure they'll all be hoping that they get involved in play or come on at some point in this game.
How important is Sigurdsson going to be to you in these last 8 games?
Yeah, all the squads are important. I mean, he's obviously a key player because he scores goals and he makes goals, and he's still working very hard. Middlesbrough did a good job of making things difficult for him yesterday, particularly in the first half. They got tight on him, they doubled up on him. Second half, he became a little bit more influential, and again, going into this game is going to be very important.
And just lastly, overall, you look at this run-in. You came in, you created momentum when you arrived. You won 4 games out of 6. That momentum has stalled. What's the key to getting it back again?
I think just focusing on getting, one positive result. A win, a point we got yesterday. I'm hoping that's going to be a really important point. But just getting that win, and sometimes a win can come from, when you're not expecting it, when the people around you are not expecting it, when you're not even expecting it. We went to Liverpool, no one was expecting it, You know, we went out there, just tried to perform well. We got a win. Crystal Palace got a win maybe no one was expecting. And, you know, we have to approach this game like that. That, you know, why not? Why can't it be this Wednesday?
Thanks, Paul.
Paul, with your entry, obviously you wouldn't field an injured player, but is there any part of you tended to say, to be conservative over it and say, well, maybe we might need him more at West Ham on Saturday?
Yeah, possibly. But also, I think it would be difficult for him to start on Wednesday if he managed to get through and was fit. I don't think he's going to be 100% fit, and that's not necessarily talking about the ankle. It's just when you haven't trained for a few days, you do lose a little bit of physical conditioning. Although he has been working hard in the gym to maintain cardio fitness. So I think we have to think about him as maybe making an impact from the bench if required. If not, we have more time to prepare for West Ham.
And you said everyone involved yesterday is fit again. How much do you have to take into consideration the Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday routine? Strikes me in the Championship you wouldn't worry about it. Players don't worry about it. But in the Premier League it's a big thing, this midweek game.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen so often. In the Championship tends to be Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. The situation for us is obviously Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's a little bit tighter. You have to take it into consideration. I'm thinking about making some changes for Wednesday. Not massive changes, but some. And, possibly again for Wednesday. But we'll just get through the next game first and see how we get on with that.
And it seemed to me that there was a great deal of tension in the stadium yesterday. Do you expect that to be the same for the rest of the season now? Have the fans almost have to be able to cope with that?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is that the players cope with it, and they've done well. They've done well so far. There's going to be some tense moments ahead, no question about it. Every game's really important. Every game's got a lot at stake, and that's going to be the case on Wednesday. And I wouldn't. It's not going to surprise me now, I think, if we have that right up until West Brom on the last day of the season. It
could really go to the last game, do you think?
Yeah, it's looking that way.
How do you feel about
that? I want to have the opportunity, right up until the last moment, to have a chance of staying in the league, of course. I want to get the job done before that, if possible. Of course you do. But I don't want to be arriving at the last game and it's not possible.
Tom Carroll has made quite an impact since he's arrived in January. How would you assess what he's contributed so far? And do you think he'll have any sort of point to prove against his old club, since he's the most recent departure from there?
Yeah, I think that's normal. He was at the club, I think, from 8 years of age. So he's a massive part of his life has been at Tottenham. I'm sure he's really looking forward to the game. Maybe I'll rest him. What do you think? For West Ham. Now, point to prove. He's a good player, and I think Tottenham thought he was a good player. They kept him for a long, long time. He's played good amount of first team games, and it was the right move for Tom to move somewhere where he was going to play more regularly, and he's certainly making a good progress here at Swansea.
And Nigel Gibbs, just one of the two you brought from Tottenham, is he able to give you anything that you don't know about how Maurizio Pochettino's side will perform?
We using our analysis team, we scout and look at the opposition in lots of detail. So Nigel being there has got that little bit more intel than you might have normally. So we go into all the different sources that we can to get the information and try and give us that little edge.
All the best.
Thanks very much.
All the best.
Wow.
Got nothing else to say? Do something.
You're done.
Good luck.
Okay, fam.
Thank you very much.
rare one.